Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my show Computer Wednesday. In today's episode we're going to take a look at Sony because it's back right now. So let's dive right into it. Now, if any of you are older than 20 years, you must understand that Sony used to be a very big name in mobile industry. Sony Ericsson was bringing PDAs and basically they were making touchscreen before touchscreen was cool. So Sony had like very epic highs at this point, but after that they suffered loss after loss after loss, and I mean every division of Sony started to suffer loss. From the division that makes TVs, from the division that makes electronics, to the division that makes movies, all of them started suffer loss after loss, and there were many things contributing to it. Primary being, like, what was the core problem was that Japanese manufacturing is far more expensive than Korean manufacturing compared to Samsung. Compared to Chinese manufacturing, it's like 10 times more expensive, so inherently they were limited. And on top of that, even though they had foundation of music industry, because they made Walkman and like they were doing multiple other things that were groundbreaking, specifically in gaming console environment, their corporate environment was so messy that people in the same company, as in like you were working for Sony Corporation, the division that was making Sony Alpha cameras, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna share the software codes with Sony Mobile division. That created a paradox. It's like you're making the best hardware there is, but you do not put good software on it. It might as well be useless. So that happened. Like there were a lot of problems with Sony. First, they were like loss after loss. As you can see this graph, they sold the most amount of mobile phone in like around 2014, which is around 11 million. To give you a context, Samsung sells that in like few months, not even few whole months. Like Samsung can have that kind of shipping volume in like few days. So they were going, that was the highest, and after that from 2015 to 2016 to 2017 they're going down constantly, and they are losing money in every front. Their movie divisions is also losing money, and Sony mobile phone, at one time it used to be a big deal, because if you are remembering correctly, Sony is the first one that properly introduced the idea of a waterproof phone. Like Sony was the first to do it, and there were other also add-on things that were quite amazing with Sony phones. But because of this messy environment, they did not put their best foot forward, and they started to slip behind. And on top of that, expensive Japanese manufacturing did not help them a bit. So that created a problem that everything started to fall apart. The only thing that survived was basically Sony PlayStation division, that finally in PlayStation 4 era started to make profit. It was not making money in PlayStation 3 era. It was printing money in PS2, but in PS3 it's like and PS4 it finally again started to make money. But everything else is like, in recent years Samsung and LG removed it from TV industry, so it's not looking good. But they are back. So basically, even though their Samsung mobile division is not doing good, Sony mobile division is not doing so good, but Sony semiconductor industry is doing amazingly well, because they are the backbone of most mobile phone as of now. Same way like Samsung memory chips are like everywhere, Sony imaging sensor is everywhere, from iPhone to every other phone. Sony is basically backbone of almost all imaging needs in this planet as of now. So what they are doing is they are simplifying the line, because their older naming system was very complex, like Xperia X10, Xperia XLY, they were complicated names. So they are like, okay, let's simplify our lineup. So what they have is Xperia 1. That's it, nothing fancy about it, just Xperia. They are simplifying the lineup, and they have by default right now, they already have the greatest hardware for camera, flat out. There is no competition here. They are the backbone of smartphone industry, so they know how to make good hardware. Software, because they make Sony Alpha cameras and all that, which right now as of me talking to you, they make the best autofocus algorithm out there. They are already very ahead in terms of autofocus algorithms. So now they are collaborating. Now they are like, yeah, Alpha series is actually sharing technology with them. That's why the first time in forever, eye autofocus is gonna come for a smartphone. And because even though their TV division is losing money, but they are not bad in terms of technology. That also is being merged together. So basically they're gonna take the best of everything, best of camera hardware, best of camera software, best of OLED technology, best of sound system. Because even though Sony is about to remove basically their headphone jack, because Sony themselves make a lot of audio equipment, they have created a new standard for Bluetooth wireless transfer. Basically, if you don't have that transmission, the audio quality would be very weak, and if you want like loss lossless audio transmission, you have to use Sony hardware with Sony software. So Sony already makes both of them. That's why like that Sony wireless headphone that everybody is going about, Bluetooth, that is best in class in terms of noise cancellation and however amazing it is, it also supports that. So Sony can properly give you epic audio quality without giving you that Bluetooth compression, because Sony itself has that technology patent. It's free for anyone to use, but as of now Sony high-end headphones have that and high-end mobile phone has that. So all these technology combined allows them to create something truly amazing, as in like from epic hardware to epic software to epic display to epic sound system. So this is how they want to make a comeback in 2019. So this is their flagship, basically Xperia 1. I told you they were simplifying everything. It's just Xperia 1, that's it. This is the one, this is the Neo. So what they are going around, like what is their USP? Their USP is 21:9. Now if you're familiar with this display, it's 16:9. This is very common for almost everything HD. Now if you want to do cinematic, this gets stretched. That is why 16:9 or 18:9 gets stretched to 21:9. This is basically the movie industry. Now that creates a benefit for Sony, because right now if you have Netflix or if you have Amazon Prime, surprisingly large number of movie has this format, but you don't have display, so you get black bars top and bottom. On this puppy you don't have to worry about this. And there is another benefit, because they are stretched so much, instead of giving a ugly notch, they are like, okay, there is just a tiny trim on top. So that's amazing. So that's their core USPs. Like we are going 21:9, completely unique. On top of that, they are coming out 4K. Now, if you are familiar with Sony, they already had 4K like 3 years ago. I think they had 4K on mobile phone. So they are coming back again 4K. This time they are basically getting it HDR certification. If you are familiar with Samsung also has HDR certification, and Apple also has. However, Sony will become the only one that can do Dolby HDR certification. That is a completely different ballgame. At this point, this is the highest grade display, mobile display you can get flat out on this planet. So they're going all in on this, and they're going with triple camera setup with autofocus. I already told you. So Sony is taking basically their movie lineup, everything they know about movie industry, because they are doing quite well in that regard in terms of hardware. Like Sony Alpha division is also making money, same as their PlayStation 4 division. So they are taking best of all worlds. So when you saw the press conference where they announced it, they were showing something like this, where you're gonna have your cinema camera and use this camera, because basically this mobile, because the display is so high quality that you're gonna properly apply LUTs to it and see what your exposure is gonna look like. So that's amazing. So this is what Sony is banking on. This is an expensive device. Do not think this is a cheap device, but it is one of a kind. As of now, there is no competition. There is no something that even comes close. And you can record also for 4K and higher quality 4K, because they had now Sony Alpha solutions. The 4K quality that is coming out of this is very good. And they also support what we call LUTs, which allows you to get more dynamic range out of a crappy kind of sensor. So they're really going ahead. So this will become a very big, if it really works as they're expecting, it can really become a backup camera for basically YouTube content creators like that, because that's supposed to be that good. They are really pushing it that far. So that's Xperia 1. This is their flagship. On top of that, they are also releasing mid-range, and that will be called Xperia 10 and 10 Plus. I have no idea why they are calling it 10, but how every review of that is flat out, it's a very good phone, but it's not price competitive. That one, like Xperia 1, is very price competitive. For $800 is very price competitive. These puppy on the other hand are not very good. Like for $300 to $400, they are not giving you as many things as you would expect, because at this point I think the Japanese manufacturing cost is coming back again, because these are not price competitive. Flat out you are paying the Sony tax at this point, or 21:9 aspect ratio task. Now if you do a lot of movie watching in using Amazon Prime or using Netflix, this may be a worthwhile investment for you. Other than that, there is nothing unique about this phone. So like if you really want price to performance, don't even look at this. Xperia 1 is very good price to performance, and it really does have some USPs. These puppy on the other hand is like they are just like, okay, we are a bit tall. On that it's a completely different ball game. On these okay, so because they have full HD screen, they don't have 4K. So I don't think this mid-range one will do that good, but the Xperia 1 can really change things, because even though that does not have headphone jack, because they know how to make a wireless algorithm and they have patented wireless transmission technology, they can easily make a good like almost comparable wireless solution that competes against wire. So I'm not gonna put my money on their mid-range. However, I'm gonna put them money, my money on their flagship to do well. It will come out in April, so we'll find out soon. So this was my presentation on Sony. I hope you liked it or learned from it. In that case, please leave a like and click the ad shown in this video. That will directly help me. If you didn't like it, don't worry. You can press the dislike button, press it twice to show me your extra disappointment, and leave a comment because I reply to all of them. And please subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.